Here's what I crocheted in May and June 2024. Hi there, I'm Cilla from Cilla Crochets, and I'm here to cheer you on throughout your crochet journey, no matter what stage you're at. In this video, I'm going to share the projects I've been working on over the last 2 months to give you some inspiration, hopefully. So whether that's a crochet pattern that you'd like to try, an accessory, or maybe a type of yarn that you haven't used before, whatever it is, I hope you find something that motivates you to pick up your yarn and crochet hook and start crocheting. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the crochet pattern I released for free on my blog in May. So this is Millie the Monkey Lovey. She is the Lovey version of Milo the Monkey, which I made, I think last year. You'll see Milo sitting up there. But Millie the Monkey Lovey was a very fun project to make. So I've obviously just used the head, arms, ears, basically the facial features and the arms of Milo to make the Lovey, and then I've created the pattern for the little blanket. And one of my favorite bits about this pattern is that I've incorporated a lemon peel stitch into the Lovey. So that's the light brown color you see there. I really like trying new stitches and incorporating them into my patterns. For one, I feel like it makes things a little bit more exciting, but also it's great to learn new stitches and new techniques, and I like introducing other people to new stitches and new techniques. So that's one of my ways of doing it. So I've added a new type of stitch into this Lovey. So I was introduced to the lemon peel stitch from a garment I made quite a while ago. I'll share a little bit more on that soon. But for now, Millie the Monkey's pattern is free on my blog. I'll put the link in the description below. If you'd like the PDF, that's in all my online shops. But I hope you like her. I'm very, very pleased with how she turned out. I love a Lovey project or a comforter project. Also, what do you call it? Do you call it a Lovey, a comforter, a security blanket? There's lots of names for the toy baby blanket. I'd love to know what you call them. So I thought I would show you quickly the project that introduced me to the lemon peel stitch. This was it. So it's a lovely top. I've got a photo that I shared on Instagram behind me, but the pattern is by Kath Weber, and I got the pattern out of an Inside Crochet magazine. But the name of the pattern is the Himalayan Salt Tea, and I used Sheepy Metropolis yarn for this project. I'll give you a bit of a close-up, but it is lovely, and that lemon peel stitch, the texture of it looks absolutely gorgeous. So I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek of that. That is where I was introduced to that stitch, which I have incorporated into Millie's pattern. I may even do a little tutorial on it, a separate YouTube video soon, so keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, if you are interested in giving it a shot, giving the lemon peel stitch a shot, and you like Millie's pattern, that's one way you can try it as well. Or if you're interested in a much bigger project, the Himalayan Salt Tea, it's a lovely garment to make. Lots of fun, lots of different stitches and techniques. And the yarn, I really like Sheepies. I'm definitely pronouncing it wrong, but it was a really nice yarn to work with as well, and it was one of my go-to relaxing projects that I take my time with. So great memories there. Now, the free pattern I released last month was this little tender tomato. This was a improvised project. I wasn't planning on making a tomato or designing a tomato. But I was working on a bigger project design that went a little wrong. I mean, not too wrong, but I'll share that with you shortly. Long story short is I parked the project I was working on for last month and decided to whip up a quick little tomato to join my fruit collection. So the tomato itself, like the shape of the tomato was taken from the optimal orange, and the leaves of the tomato, that was taken basically an improvised version of Hetty the hen's feathers. So that is this one here. Let me get it. That's Hetty the hen, and that is what I mean by her feathers. So it's very similar technique there. But anyway, the tender tomato is free on my blog. I'll put the link in the description below. And for this design, I used Rico Designs Creative Cotton Aran yarn. I also used that yarn for Millie the Monkey Lovey. Definitely one of my go-to yarn brands. So check it out if you haven't tried it already. Another fun project I worked on was remaking the Luscious Lemon using Premier Parfait Chunky. Premier Parfait Chunky is a chenille yarn I only used for the first time last month or the month before. It's very popular with some of my crochet friends, and I've wanted to try it for quite some time. So I thought I would just whip up one of my fruit and make a large lemon. So the Luscious Lemon has definitely been one of my most popular crochet patterns that I've ever made, in the way of Etsy sales and all of that. But the free pattern's on my blog, so if you want to make a lemon, you can grab that there as well. But here's to show what it looks like in Parfait Chunky. I think I used I would go down in hook size if I were to make it again. I think I used a 6mm crochet hook. I would definitely probably use at least a 5, maybe a 4 even, for the Premier Parfait. None of the stuffing is showing, but I do think the stitches just look a bit too big. I'm used to them being a bit tighter, as you can see, in comparison to the original Aran Weight Lemon. So that's the two there for the size difference. Now I have a confession to make. I have shared with you some of the whips I was working on. So I'm making a large Dante the Dragon using Premier Parfait Chunky. That was one of the projects. Well, basically, I haven't really worked on any of the last whips that I've shown you in the last 2 months, which is a little bit slack. But as crocheters do, I got distracted with another new project that caught my eye. So I've put a photo up behind me of what the project is that I've chosen. It's another what I would call a relaxing project that I've chosen. So it's a top. The top is designed by Brianna K Designs, and the name of the pattern is the Honeycomb Summer Tank. And so that is a picture of it behind me. This is Brianna K Designs website. So you can get the free pattern from her website here, how to crochet a honeycomb tank top. I, however, did buy the PDF pattern, so I'm working from her PDF pattern. But this is mine so far. So it's all crocheted in one piece, and I think, it's going to wrap around. I won't give too much away. But I just wanted to show you how pretty that yarn is, and also that pattern. I'm really enjoying this, and I have been working on this quite a bit actually, just because it's a nice relaxing project to go to, and everything's been a bit busy for me lately, so it's nice to have something that I can just crochet and switch off and not think too much, as opposed to having to write down all my steps for pattern designs. But anyway, so that is a whip I have on the go at the moment. I am using a 2mm Clover and More crochet hook for that one. I did do a gauge swatch, so that's not the size hook that Brianna recommends in the pattern. It is just for my gauge and the yarn that I've chosen to use, which is another Sheepies yarn actually. Let me go get a bowl of it and I can share a bit more with you about the yarn. Okay, so this is the yarn that I chose for the top. It is Sheepies Stonewashed. It is a sport weight yarn. I'll show you the back. It's part cotton, part acrylic, but it has that really nice variegated effect. So it's the nice aqua type color with specks of white throughout. But I just really loved that color and wanted to make a top out of it. So that's what drew me to this particular yarn. It was genuinely the color over anything else. But it is really nice to work with. And it feels quite soft as well. It's not too scratchy, having a feel of the bit that I've made, so I don't think it's going to be too irritating to wear or anything like that. It is probably a bit thicker than what I would expect to make with... It is a bit thicker though than I think the top that Brianna has made, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It just, it does feel thick, but I suppose crocheted garments always do feel a little bit thicker. Okay, now we are up to the last project I'm going to share with you from the last 2 months. This is the design that I decided to park, and when I decided to make the tomato instead quickly. So I accidentally purchased some chenille yarn. I will tell you the name and more details in a second. But I wanted to make a teddy bear. There's nothing wrong with the teddy bear. I think it's looking quite cute. But the unique fact about the teddy bear was that I was going to use a chenille yarn for some of the parts, and I was going to use a cotton aran yarn for some of the parts because I wanted to play with the different type of fibre and put it, you know, joining the two types of fibre together. I thought it would be quite fun, quite creative, and something a little bit different, and I still will do it. But the problem is that I am playing yarn chicken. So all the bits that I wanted to make with the chenille, this is literally all I've got left. I wanted to do the arms and legs with the chenille as well. And it's just looking like I'm gonna run out of yarn. So I'm tossing up what to do with this one. Whether I risk it and continue making it and try and see if it works, or whether I order some more yarn. The problem is I've lost the label, so I'm a little bit worried about buying yarn from a different lot. So you know how yarn, I'm going to use this one as an example. Every ball of yarn will have a different, well, not a different, but will have a lot number. So if you buy the same color yarn, but it has a different lot number, that means they were made separately. So there will be a very, very slight variation in the color. That's usually not that noticeable unless you're using it to crochet one piece of something. And when you see the two colors next to each other, it can be quite noticeable. So it's a risk. I could take it. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do yet with that one. If you've got any ideas or thoughts or strong opinions, drop a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear what you think. But let me find a bit more information about the yarn and I will tell you about that shortly. Okay, so I looked the information up about the chenille yarn I was using for the teddy bear, and it's Paint Box Yarns Chenille, and it's a bulky, chunky weight yarn. And I was using I think it was a 5mm hook to crochet with it. But it was really nice to work with. It is really nice to work with, I should say. Sorry, I'm using past tense because I haven't been crocheting it lately. But it isn't too sheddy. You know how chenille yarns can tend to break away a bit. I mean, it does break away a little bit. I think every single chenille yarn does a little bit, but it's not too bad. And it feels nice to work with. I've actually really enjoyed it. And the very short story behind why I have that yarn is I went a bit crazy on Lovecrafts not too long ago and put in a yarn order, but I did that whole thing of putting lots in the basket and then going to the basket and taking things out that I wasn't going to go ahead with and purchase. So I did go ahead with an order of, I think it was smaller little chenille yarns. I think it was the Nilly Nilly, actually, the Rico design Nilly Nilly yarn. But then when the order was delivered, I got this Paint Box chenille yarn as well, which must have just been one of the balls of yarn I forgot to take out of the basket. I wasn't expecting it. So, hey, it was a bonus. And it gave me some inspiration of a design to do. So I hope I will get that design done. It's probably realistically not going to be this month, not going to be next month, but it's one that I've got and I will come back to at some point, so I'll keep you posted on that. But that is it from me today. So they are all the projects I've been working on over the last 2 months. I hope this video has helped you in some way and given you some inspiration. Maybe you found a pattern or some yarn that you want to try. I'd really love to know what you've gotten out of this. So please do leave me a comment below. If you have enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to follow along for any new crochet videos I release, please do hit that subscribe button and turn the little bell on so you get notified when any new videos are published. Until next time, happy crocheting!